And here we are. Welcome to Sam Roberts Now. Happy Lonely Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody's ready for a fabulous weekend that's starting off the only way that it should be, very, very lonely. Welcome to Sam Roberts Now. It's a very special Sam Roberts Now because it's hot dog free. No hot dog tonight. And the reason for that is not because he's occupied, but because it's Audience Appreciation Night. Audience Appreciation Night here on Sam Roberts Now. And I thought to myself, what could I do for the Not Samsonites to really make it clear how much I care about them and how much I hear them? Oh, that's what I'll do. Ban hot dog from the show. So no hot dog tonight. Audience Appreciation Night. And look, get your super chats in, get your likes up, do the whole deal. Patrick Bateman says, thank you for your service, Sammy. I thank you. And I mean, might be distasteful to say that on Veterans Day, but I get what you're saying. And I appreciate it, and I accept it. I mean, I'm feeling, when you start when you pick up new skills, I don't know if you've ever picked up a new skill, but you feel like like a beast, like a powerful person. I spent most of the day, I got a stream deck, and maybe at some point I'll get on here and give you a full breakdown of what I think. But part of it is finding games and stuff, and what attracted me to this stream deck instead of like a Nintendo Switch or one of the other portable gaming things is that, like, look, as much as I'm working on my projects and as much as I'm spending time with my family, like, I can't justify, if I'm not working, if I can't show you a little slip of paper that denotes that this activity helped support my family, I can't justify to myself, not to anybody else, to myself, not hanging out with my wife and children who I adore. I've got these great human beings that live right in the same house with me. If I'm not working to support them, I'm hanging with them. It's great. But there are times that you need to just take the edge off. You need to chill. So I like to, pick up a game or something, and I don't, because of that, it's short increments. At night, definitely there's time. But I don't like to, I don't end up sitting in front of a television connected to a console with a controller as much as usual, but there are times that I could lay out on the couch. Maybe the whole family's in the living room watching a program. I don't need to be engaged in the film. Maybe it's another airing of Moana, and I've already seen the movie. I know how I feel about it. I don't need to watch it again. I can pick up a gaming console. So I went with the handheld thing. And I went with the Stream Deck because they said you could do anything with it. You could do, it's whatever you want. There's all these games for it. And I go, okay. And so I got the Stream Deck, and I started tinkering around with it, just using games that are on Steam. I think I said Stream Deck. I meant Steam Deck. Stream Deck is a thing that there's buttons on it. Steam Deck. So I started tinkering around with the buttons available on Steam. And at first, that sufficed. I was playing Vampire Survivor and getting up past 10 minutes. I was checking. I'm waiting. But the other thing is I'm waiting until Black Friday to get the deal skis on the games, right? You gotta wait until Black Friday because, like, the big games, the GTAs, the God of Wars, all these, the prices decreased dramatically. So I said, let me look into what people were saying about you can do anything on this Steam Deck. And at first, it was the emulators, the Emu Deck. Emulators are basically, they allow you to take all the old consoles and the games that used to be on, like, a Nintendo cartridge. You'd have to get the big Nintendo, and you'd blow on the cartridge, and you'd put it in, and it was a whole ordeal. It would cost you all this money. Now they've figured out, these experts on the computers have figured out how to get these games into, like, a 3 megabyte file. It's nothing. But you can get emulators for every system that you can think of. Like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, all that. But they've got emulators now for PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. It's just that as you get up to the more graphically complex gaming systems, you have to really do more tinkering to get through to your games, right? So I go, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. And at first, I learned how to do PlayStation 1. That's as far as I got with the emulators, and that's enough. You know, I started downloading like all the games that I used to play on PlayStation 1, NBA Jam on Sega Genesis, Mario Kart on Mario 64. But you have to figure out how to use it. The reason you can do anything with a Steam Deck is because it's basically a PC in your hands. So you can do anything, but you have to know how to kind of back end a PC. So I start learning how to what files to download and what folders to put them in, and how to put them in an SD card, and then how to reboot the Steam Deck into like a desktop mode, so then you can go into an application so it can read the card, which will then transfer all your games into your gaming app when you're in gaming mode. And once you do all of it, it's perfect. But I had no experience doing that stuff. But like, you know, a week or two ago, I felt like a big man figuring that out. Then I go, yeah, but I like playing PUBG, PlayerUnknown, Battleground. I like that game. I play it on my phone. But you can't play it on many systems, right? Because of the cheating. They don't like cheating. So they don't have it on the Steam Deck. And I go, that's a bummer because it's on Steam. You can play it on the PC. And then I go dangerous. I start looking into how you can boot up a Windows operating system on your Steam Deck. And I go, uh-oh. And I swear to God, I felt like Mr. Robot. I felt like Rami Malek before he played Freddie Mercury. I was going on. I was watching YouTube videos. I went to Best Buy to make sure I got an SD card, a micro SD card that could hold a lot of memory. I would have gotten a terabyte if they had it. They didn't have it in stock. I got 512 gigabytes. Make sure it was fast, though, too. Can't just be any memory card that holds 512 gigabytes. Got to be a fast one. No, I didn't buy the wrong thing. I got the right thing. But then I figure out, okay, how do I get Windows? I use a Mac, right? I use a Macintosh computer. How do I get Windows on this card? Because that's the deal. You get Windows on an SD card. There's a little micro SD slot in the Steam Deck. And boom, you can start installing if you're doing it right. You don't want to fuck it up either, because then your whole Steam Deck is kaput. I had to go into boot camp. I had to find an older laptop, because you can't do it with the M1 Max. I had to find an older laptop, install Windows onto the MacBook so that I could then use the Windows, because you can't open Windows onto an SD card on a Mac. You have to do it on something that's already Windows. So I did that, and I downloaded it onto the SD card, and then I put it in. I'm going through all these steps and everything, and I'm hanging out with the kids at the same time. It's handheld. They're like, are you playing games? And they're looking at the screen, and they just see code and applications installing. It's the most boring game ever. But I tell you what, once I got it going, it took a while. But once I got it going, I felt like a champion. I felt like a weatherman. I felt like Sam Champion, not Sam Roberts. Once I got it going. And you know what I did? I had operating Windows on my Steam Deck. And I went into the Steam application, and it was working like on a PC. Now I have access to any game, not just the games that you can play on Steam Deck. Now I can play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now I can play PUBG. I can still get all my emulators, but just play them through Windows. And you know what I did? I opened up Steam. I played Vampire Survivor. Graphics look good. I played Vampire Survivor again. So it was a very, very accomplished day for me. At the same time, I uploaded the Nick Aldis interview that's making waves through the wrestling community. If you're into that, go to the Notsam Wrestling YouTube channel. But I had to do something. I had to get involved with all this tech and the Steam Deck, because otherwise I just would have been refreshing Twitter over and over and over again. Last week, I told you, when Elon kind of laid out what his plan would be, that Elon was going for Twitter Blue. Last week, I told you that Twitter Blue was going to be great for professional trolls. That if you want to make sure that the person you're trolling sees your troll, You pay your $8 and they will absolutely see your troll. Comedy is now legal on Twitter, said Elon Musk on October 28th, 2022. Just 1 week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago at this point. 2 weeks ago. Comedy is now legal on Twitter. One of the most poorly aging tweets in the history of the medium. Because I was right. I started, and I noticed it was like a Wednesday. Wednesday was when the non-verifies, I call them the untouchables of Twitter. Those who I shouldn't have to interact with started to get their check marks, started to pay their $8 and get their check marks. And I was actually talking to a WWE superstar, and he wasn't complaining about it. He just said, this is odd. You know, I got a verified tab that should only be verified people, and all these normies, he didn't say normies, I'm saying normies, untouchables, are sneaking in. Now the verified tab, which was not that you're trying to avoid people, but it's just the tab that wasn't cluttered. There ends up being a lot of clutter on Twitter, is becoming very cluttered. Which is why I said the thing was going to be dumb, because the people who are trying to avoid clutter, once everybody gets verified, it's just going to be more clutter. You're just going to stop using the thing. But comedy is now legal on Twitter. So the first bit of comedy that was legalized on Twitter over the week was that, yes, everybody did start getting their blue check marks. But by Wednesday night, they had created a system, which still exists, by the way, these 2 days later. They developed a system where if you go to a user's profile and you click on their check mark, you can see if they paid for their check mark or if they're a grandfathered in check mark, if they're one of the elites or if it's paid for. And so that became a very fun activity that you could go and declare legitimacy or illegitimacy to a check mark. But I had no idea how much fun it was going to get once comedy became legalized on Twitter, because people realized that once they were verified, once they paid and were verified, it's not like there's more steps taken to actually verify you. Like the name, calling it verifying is a misnomer, because it's no longer a verification system. It's just a reward for paying $8 a month. Theoretically, when Twitter verification started, and I know that it's become bastardized, there are many, many people on Twitter that do not need those check marks. There is no confusion from anybody as to whether it's the real or the fake individual, because nobody would ever consider parodying that person. However, when verification first came out, it was either like a celebrity or a lot of times a journalist, because people would get confused with these parodies, and they wanted a system so that they were protected, so that if something is coming from this, you know they're a real person. So theoretically, if you wanted to open up the verification system, it would be based around somehow identifying people properly. But that's not what the system is now. The system is just people started to get real hyped up over the check marks, right? People started to get very, very excited over the check marks. If you got a blue check, that means you mean something in the world. It's a cool kids table, right? And so Elon said, no, not on my watch. First of all, too many of these blue check marks don't like me. And second of all, power to the people. Let's give everyone blue check marks. But the trolls don't have mercy. I think Elon might have thought, well, if I give everyone blue check marks, the trolls will listen to me. The trolls don't listen. The trolls, Elon, want to lure you into a sense of false confidence, want to lure you into this idea that, yes, of course we'll be on your side. Of course we'll be on your side. Just give us what we want. And then you give them what you want, and boom, you're the butt of the joke. Of course. It's the frog and the scorpion. The frog puts the scorpion on its back. As they're going across the river, the scorpion stings the frog. The frog feels the venom going through its veins. They both start sinking to the bottom of this bog. And the frog looks at the scorpion and he says, "Why would you do that, scorpion? Now we're both screwed." And the scorpion says, "Because I'm a scorpion. It's in my nature." Why, trolls, are you ruining this Twitter that I've given you power in? Because, Elon, we're trolls. It's in our nature. See, because when the verification comes in, for those of you that don't use Twitter, you can put whatever name you want. So this is your Twitter username, but this is your display name. The Twitter usernames, there's only one, right? There's only one Notsam. There's only one Elon Musk. There's only one, Major League Baseball, whatever. But anyone can put whatever they want in the display name. That was the problem that Elon was having early on. That users who were already verified, Kathy Griffin, Ethan Klein, they were coming forward and they were changing their display names to Elon Musk, and then they would change the Twitter profile photo to an unflattering photo of Elon, and they would tweet out ridiculous things as Elon. Elon said, "Not under my watch. Comedy may be legal, but it's not that legal," and he banned them. And so people saw this. They said, while comedy is legal, it seems like we have somebody that doesn't enjoy parody. So this was the first one I noticed that became trouble. Now you can see that if you really look at it, the username, which is grayed out, is NLNTEN doofus. NLN10 doofus. But that's not what you're looking at. You're looking at the profile photo and you're looking at the display name. It says Nintendo of America. And it's just a photo of Mario flipping the bird. Nintendo can't have that. So all of a sudden, everybody's like, why is Nintendo? Because that's the thing about Twitter. That's the thing about the whole internet. We've all been conditioned. This is a headline culture. We've all been conditioned to just react. You just react. You don't read any further. You don't double check. You don't think to yourself, oh, that doesn't seem like that would really be happening. You just react to it. It's how we've all been raised. A thing comes and hits you, and you have an absolute, definitive, and extreme reaction to it immediately. That's how society works. So you don't take the time to look at the @name, the username. You see the display name, you see the picture, you see Mario flipping you off, you go, what's Nintendo losing their mind? Twitter goes crazy, and then eventually you realize it's a parody. But the problem is that blue check mark next to Nintendo of America throws everybody off. The blue check mark is such a symbol of excellence that nobody bothers to look at the username. Once that blue check mark is there, if there's anything that we have faith in the world, it's the blue check mark. So once that blue check mark is there, it's like, boom, we're looking at it. Now, Elon is, of course, going like, well, we take parody very seriously on Twitter. We hate parody, so we delete those accounts right away. I don't care if this is up for 1 hour. I don't care if it's up for 30 minutes. The internet is forever. As soon as the tweet goes out, it's screen grabbed, and Nintendo has to go on damage control. Why? Because comedy is now legal on Twitter. Look at this one. People realize there's a lot of fun to be had. Somehow, a verified George W. Bush account tweets out, "I miss killing Iraqis." And a verified Tony Blair account responds, "Same, TBH." Stands for "to be honest." Who knew that these politicians knew leet speak so well? How about this one? And look at that. Old W has a sad face because he so misses killing the Iraqis. Rudy Giuliani. The @name is Rudy Giuliani ESQ, but it says right there, Rudy W. Giuliani, check mark. And it says, Nancy Pelosi and I do not agree on many things. But them thanks thing, and I'll tell you what. Oh, I just sit there giggling. We have a whole group text going, me, Hot Dog, and Travis, where we're just sending each other these fake verified tweets all day. Because the People on the internet are so funny. Comedy is legal on Twitter, and I am so happy about it. Nancy Pelosi and I do not agree on many things, but them things thangin', I'll tell you what. And he's right. That's the other thing. You're like, whether you agree with Giuliani on a lot or you don't agree with Giuliani on a lot. I was just happy that there was some bipartisanship going on where we could all agree that, yes, you look at Pelosi, and regardless of policy decisions, them things is absolutely thangin'. How about it? And it goes way beyond politics. It's everything. It's corporate mascots like Mario. It's politicians like Tony Blair and George W. Bush and Rudy Giuliani. That's the 9/11 trifecta. And then it goes into sports. The king, LeBron James, verified LeBron James account. That says LeBron James, there's a verified check mark, and he says, I am officially requesting a trade. Thank you, hashtag Lakers Nation, for all the support through the years. 100 onto bigger and better things. Hashtag the kid from Akron. Hashtag I'm coming home. Now, see, that's not even like a traditional parody. It's just a lie. And what? What, are they going to go like, wow, well, we're deleting the account and we're not going to give them a refund? That tweet was worth $8 because comedy is legal, bro. It might cost you $8. I hope that none of these trolls are paying for the year in advance. They're just going month by month. But I can't imagine any of these jokers getting charged more than $8. And all of these are worth $8. How about Nestle? It's verified. It says Nestle. There's a picture of the Nestle corporate logo there. And it says, we steal your water and sell it back to you, LOL. And you go, is that what you're doing, Nestle? Is that what you've been doing this whole time? I mean, these things are coming fast and furious. This is like Vin Diesel and Paul Walker in their prime. I don't see how anybody can stop it. Can you imagine working at Twitter right now? Can you imagine sitting there like, how are we going to do this? See, I said this from the beginning. The problem is that Twitter will probably always be around, or some version of Twitter, as sort of a news source, as looking at, what, for news. But in terms of like creating content, the future is all short form video, and Twitter is not the spot for short form video. So I don't know what the upside to this deal is going to be. I grew up in the UK, okay? I grew up with Mr. Bean as just an icon. When they released a Mr. Bean movie in the States around 1995, I thought it was one of the best things that could ever happen to me. Sammy B. Muffins had traveled back to these United States, and Mr. Bean was coming with me. And now, I mean, that says who wants Mr. Bean to eat their pee tonight? Verified. It's verified. It says real Mr. Bean, and the display name is Mr. Bean. He's got a verified check, and he's talking about cunnilingus. That's terrible. That is terrible. CSF says it's Russians. Maybe it is. Maybe it's Russian interference. I mean, this can't be what Elon's intention for all of this is. Tesla. It's a verified account from the company Tesla. It says, appreciation post for our amazing founders. And I think Elon Musk is a founder of Tesla. But I'm almost certain that Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman associated with Jeffrey Epstein, who's in jail for it now, I don't think that she's actually one of the founders of Tesla. But it's coming from an account that says Tesla that has a verification check. Because comedy's legal. I don't know where this goes, but I do know that this is a period of time in Twitter that we will never, never forget. It's also a very important lesson for people. You look at this guy, Elon, and I don't know, what's that story? Icarus? About having wax wings, but thinking they're so great you can really fly on them. He gets too close to the sun and they melt. He falls from the sky and dies because he wasn't the real deal. Elon, like, it was on such a good streak. He gave us PayPal, right? He's like, what are you going to do after PayPal? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to make it so that it's cool not to use gasoline. What? Like, there were always electric cars. Not always, but there'd been electric cars, but they were kind of lame. You know? They weren't like a cool thing. Tesla, for a hot second, was like Apple, where it was like its own little community. It was clearly the future. It was where things were going. It was like you had to have you had to have the door handles that popped in and out, the screen, the Tesla screen. That's what sold me. I mean, I never bought a Tesla. I guess it didn't sell me. But that's what made me think before this. That's what made me think, okay, Tesla is going to control the automotive industry. Because it was the same feeling like in 2005, everywhere you went, white earbuds. Everywhere you went, it was white earbuds, and they were all connected to an iPod. Every single person had an iPod. It was how you listened to music, not an MP3 player, not a music player, iPod. Everyone had one. Everyone had white earbuds in their ears. And I was driving, and I looked at the car next to me. I looked through the window, and I see that screen, that iPad screen, that Tesla screen. And I said, that's it. When you look, as soon as you see the screen on the dashboard, you know it's a Tesla. And I said, that's just going to be cars. That's going to become commonplace. And then he goes and he's like, I'm going to commercialize space travel. I'm like, it's a great idea. Who doesn't want to go to space? Who doesn't want to take a trip to space in a rocket ship? What do you say when you're a little kid? When I grow up, I want to be a fireman. I want to be an astronaut. Elon's going to have electric fire trucks, and he's going to let us all go to space. Perfect. Perfect. I'm like, what are you doing with your free time? He goes, well, I've established this company where we're going to try to use technology to eliminate traffic. It's just going to go away. We're going to create tunnels that cars can go in, and it's going to eliminate traffic. And I'm like, this is a great idea. This guy is going to make electric cars commonplace, let us go to space whenever we want, and make it so traffic doesn't exist. Who couldn't support him? And then I don't know. He just starts I think he started enjoying being a little bit famous, you know? Like in being like a character. It's okay at first. But like Apple was associated with those earbuds. And Apple and Steve Jobs, synonymous. If you supported Apple, you supported Steve Jobs, and vice versa. It was what it was. Steve Jobs was an asshole, but he was never political. You can support an asshole with a good product as long as they're not political. Once they get political, it throws a monkey wrench into things. When Elon started getting political, I was like, okay, you're going to eliminate half the audience because now if you drive a Tesla, it's associated with you, and and then he goes like, wow, wait till you see what I do with Twitter. And it's like, dude, you had it. You had it. The lesson here is, if you're super good at rocket ships and electric cars, sometimes don't ask for more. Don't look for what's the next thing. What's the other thing I can be good at? You're already good at this stuff. You are better at rocket ships and electric cars than most people will ever be at anything. You don't have to keep searching. Because when you do, what happens? You take over Twitter, and within a week, somehow, through your decision-making, you've got a verified O.J. Simpson account admitting to the murders. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's what we've been waiting for. O.J. Simpson, verified. Yeah, I'm NGL, not gonna lie. I did that shit. And we all know what shit he's talking about. He's talking about the LA shit. He's talking about the ex-wife and the waiter shit. He's talking about the Columbia necktie shit. Double homicide, okay? We'll just say that's the shit he's talking about, I think. Double homicide, NGL, not gonna lie. OJ, what's the good word? Hello, Twitter world. I'm not gonna lie, I did that shit. And it's verified. OJ can't be thrilled. OJ can't be happy. This, though, this is the one that tipped the balance. And it's made it so now the verification system is closed. 2 days in, $8 for a verified check is closed. Power to the people. Elon said power to the people. And now the people don't have the power. Because when he gave the people the power and the people found out that comedy was legal, they trolled. Eli Lilly and Company, which I guess is a pharmaceutical company. I had never heard of this company. Sent a tweet out, verified. I don't know if it was really them, but it's verified. And it says, we are excited to announce insulin is free now. So, not only is this bad, and it says, what do we, okay, I see, let me see, Big J21. Let's go back to OJ. Yeah? 7,000 retweets on the not gonna lie, I did that shit tweet. It must be real. Not only when Eli Lilly and Company tweets this out, is it draw attention to the fact that it's not free, it's going to confuse people in the marketplace, but, like, it's also drawing attention to the fact how not free it is, right? So people immediately are quote tweeting this or sending this tweet out, and they're saying, this is ironic, not because it's funny that they're making an announcement that's not true, but it's pointing out how much money this company is charging for insulin. So now it's double screwing them. And this is today. This is today. The stock crashes, right? When this tweet goes out, the stock crashes, and then the real Eli Lilly, although both are verified. This one, the username is Eli Lilly & Co., and this one, the username is LilyPad. Which Eli Lilly & Co. seems more like the real one, and they're both verified, so I couldn't begin to tell the difference. But it says, we apologize to those who have been served a misleading message from a fake Lilly account. Our official Twitter account is @LilyPad. That's what they say. But both are verified. So it becomes very difficult for me to know who to trust, which is, as much as I'm kidding, the problem. Because if you look at this stock chart, and Eli Lilly and Company could clearly make the argument that this Twitter policy is costing them money. It's causing investors to lose confidence in them. People are investing in Eli Lilly and Co. because they know that they're going to overcharge people for their medicine. That there are sick people that need medicine. And Eli Lilly and Co. is making a huge profit on them because they don't want to die. And so people are investing in them because they're going, people are going to continue to get sick and not want to die. And Eli Lilly and Co. are figuring out all kinds of great ways to make a profit off those people. So let's invest in them. If Eli Lilly and Co. are giving their medicine away for free, they're not making a profit. People are going to lose faith in that company and sell their shares. If that's really happening, because these Twitter checks cost $8 a month now, you've got legal ramifications. You got misleading information that could lead to legal ramifications, which is so funny because there were talks of people wanting to sue social media companies before this because, I don't know, they didn't let them tweet or whatever. I don't know, whatever their problem was. But now we've literally got verified check marks confessing to murder. Will this hold up in a court of law? Your Honor, there's a check mark. It says the real OJ32. And then OJ would say, I'm the real OJ32. And he goes, yeah, but the is like, you're saying not going to lie, NGL. And he's like, I didn't write NGL. And they're like, how do we know? It's verified. It's gonna create a lot of confusion. I love it. Edna Krabappel says the real world consequences is hilarious. It is hilarious. The fact that, like, you've taken something as stupid as Twitter, and not only have you made it so that the value of the company is less, but that it's actually going to cost you money, it's incredible. It's incredible. I love the journey that Twitter is on. It's the greatest content that the internet has to offer at this point. It's moving so quickly that it's capturing my attention like nothing else, and I can't wait to see what happens next. While you're watching, make sure you're getting those super chats in. By the end of the show, I will address all the super chats. If you'd like to interact with the show this evening, every super chat will be read and addressed here on Sam Roberts Now. That's the rule of the show. Also, if you're watching, hit the like button. I see a lot of you are watching. Many, I can just do the math real quick in my head, haven't yet hit the like button. So hit the like button for me, because I have to talk to you about this movie that I just watched. I watched the movie Weird, the Al Yankovic Story. Weird, the Al Yankovic Story. It is streaming for free on the Roku channel, which it's a good thing that it's free, because it is already so complicated to watch anything on the Roku channel. I guess if you have a Roku, if you watch TV through your Roku, it's probably easy. I don't watch TV through a Roku. I have an Apple TV. I have class. But if you watch TV through a Roku, I'm sure you can just get the Roku channel, and it's probably right there. I had to do some work figuring out how to get it and how to watch it. I ended up watching it on my phone. I don't think you can zap it to your Apple TV. I guess I could have, like, plugged it in or something, maybe got an HDMI adapter from my phone, but then I wouldn't have been able to check and see who was pretending to be verified on Twitter. Regardless, I watched the movie on my phone. You can get the Roku app, and you're going to have to sign up for an account too. It's a very difficult movie to watch, but I'm glad I watched it. For the last several years, the music biopic has become one of the genres of choice for people, especially pre-pandemic, to the point where, like, they're Oscar contenders every year, whether it's the Queen movie or the Elton John movie or any of these musical biopics. They were pumping them out left and right. The Elvis movie, all of them. And I'm watching these movies, and I'm going, like, people are coming out of these movies going, what an amazing story. This is making me love the music even more. And I'm leaving going, yeah, because it's an infomercial. These movies are insane. They're absurd. They're all the same movie. They're all telling the same story. They're all formatted the exact same way, and people are somehow reacting to them. I mean, they're terrible movies. And I thought I was going crazy because there were so many people enjoying these movies. I was like, does nobody see what I see? And then I turned on this weird movie, and immediately I fell in love with it. Weird, the Al Yankovic Story. It stars Daniel Radcliffe, films Harry Potter as Weird Al, which, by the way, I mean, there's several scenes where he's without a shirt, and I don't think that Weird Al ever had the physique that Daniel Radcliffe does. But he's got the wig, he's got the mustache, he's playing his accordion, but the entire thing, from the very beginning, is playing on so many of the tropes that we see in every music biopic. It's playing on so much of it's not nuance. There's nothing subtle about what goes on in these movies. It's so over the top as you're watching this biopic, but then you realize as you're watching Weird, the Al Yankovic Story. You're watching a movie that's so over the top, and this is the beauty of it, that is over the top as it is, as cartoonish as it is, it's all scenes that you've seen before. it's putting such a light on the absurdity that we've come to expect in these music biopics that I found myself delighted. I was giggling and laughing out loud to myself watching this thing. It's full of celebrity cameos, which are a lot of fun. There's a great scene with the Al Yankovic cameo in there where young Al goes to a record executive meeting for the first time. And you're watching going, this is clearly parody because this is never how a record executive meeting would actually go. But it's also how every record executive meeting has ever gone in any movie that you've ever watched. It's great. It tells the story of Weird Al as a child, going through the dangers and being influenced by what all the cool kids were doing. No, not marijuana, accordion polka music. And how even though Weird Al's father wanted him to work in a factory that was never quite discerned what it made, all he wanted to do was make music on the accordion. And I mean, it is the sort of rebellious kid with a dream who doesn't have nobody's got faith in him. His parents tell him he's never going to get it done. And then he goes to Los Angeles and somehow, even though the industry doesn't quite see it, with the help of one person, you always have all these things. You always have to meet one person who sees the same vision as you. Nobody else sees the vision, but this one famous person sees the vision, becomes the mentor, and you become the biggest star on the planet. That's the movie we're making fun of. And that's the movie we see in this played out. And that's the beauty. It really is. It's a hilarious movie produced by Funny or Die. Daniel Radcliffe's great in it because he has to play this thing in a way where it's extremely comedic, but he's totally playing it straight the whole time. Everybody in the movie is playing it straight. Rainn Wilson is playing Dr. Demento. Jack Black shows up as Wolfman Jack. There's a ton of people in this thing. But the reason that it's hilarious is because everybody is playing the comedy completely straight. And I also love seeing like big actors in it. I love that they got like Daniel Radcliffe in it. I love that they got Evan Rachel Wood in it to play Madonna in scenarios that never even sort of happened. But it's like, it's the same actors that have been a part of all these movies that they're making fun of in this movie, which makes me happy because it makes me realize that most of these actors are aware of what they're doing. It's the gig, but they're aware of what they're doing. And they finally go and they do a movie like this. This movie is like 10 years in the making. I think maybe like 10 years ago, Funny or Die put out a trailer, like a fake movie trailer. And back then, it was probably like a play on Behind the Music. And I don't know if Roku ponied up the dough or who paid for this thing. But buried deep in your Roku somewhere, if you can figure out how to get the Roku channel playing on a television in your home, and you've got, an hour 45 to kill at night, I think that you'd have a lot of fun watching this thing. Especially, and I've heard some people say, at first I didn't know if it was a real movie or a parody. If you don't know from the first scene that this is a parody, you may need to get your frontal lobe checked. It is so but you know what? You know what the reason is that not everybody realizes this is a parody? It's because they probably enjoy music biopics in general. It's great. Loved it. Felt like watching the movie Rockstar all over again. It was a really fun time, and I'm glad I took the time out to watch it. I hope you do too. Speaking of films that are coming out, we got the trailer dropping. We got the word John Wick 4 trailer is coming out. Now, for my money, the John Wick trilogy is one of the great movie trilogies that has ever existed. There's very few trilogies that you love all three movies. Godfather 1 and 2, Godfather 3 is not a terrible movie, but compared to 1 and 2, it's not even close. Like, there's such a dramatic drop-off between Godfather 1, 2, and then 3 that, and it's, to me, it's the same level drop-off as Back to the Future 3. Like, Back to the Future 1 is one of the great movies of all time. Back to the Future 2 is not by any standard a good movie. But it's fun, and you have already bought into the characters, so you're willing to go on board. Back to the Future 3 is, awful. Like, in the Old West, you can't. You can't. But I can't think of too many trilogies that don't lose an ounce even through the third movie. And John Wick has been that trilogy. My order in which I like the movies is probably 1, 3, 2. But I'm willing to listen to the argument that you like the movies in any order. I know people that like 2 the best, because they're all so great. But I believe that a different director is coming in for John Wick 4. So I walk in there with trepidation. I walk in and say, I hope I enjoy this. I can't. The level of enjoyment I get from sitting in a theater and watching a John Wick movie. I may watch all 3 John Wick movies after the kids go to bed tonight. I'm very excited now just thinking about John Wick. But let's see how we feel about the trailer that dropped just a couple days ago for John Wick 4. Let's watch it together. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Very low. Wrong thing. There you go.
Saying hello.
Okay. Keanu's looking tough.
I can hear you.
No.
And why bother?
He's got a lot to deal with. John Wick does. Okay, he's making out. That's dope.
You're going to die.
Who's going to die?
Maybe not.
Goodbye to you, my trusted friend.
Okay.
A new day is dawning. New ideas.
Lance Reddick is real good in these movies.
New management.
Oh, shit. That's Pennywise. Pennywise and the guy from Barbarian. Here we go.
Who is this? The Marquis de Gramont.
Oh, boy.
Challenge him to single combat. Win or lose, it's a way out.
I mean,
sit at the table. Your family does.
Please pray for me.
listen, I'm going to be straight honest with you right now. We're a minute into this trailer, and there's been a lot of story. That's not why I'm watching John Wick movies. Like, John Wick 3, the reason that I love that movie so much is it starts with a knife fight. Right out of the gate, here we go. Like, and I'm smiling. Ear to ear, baby. We shouldn't... It's just a trailer. It's a 2.5-minute trailer. We've only got 90 seconds left. And there's been like one scene of fighting with one guy. It should be like, yeah, we're going to fight Pennywise. But before we can, there's 700 people in front of him. And then John Wick has to fight the 700 people. If you told me that the plot of John Wick 4 is that John Wick has to fight Pennywise. Why does John Wick have to fight Pennywise? I don't know. Okay, go ahead. But before he can fight Pennywise, there's 700 people in front of Pennywise. And I go, and why does he have to fight Pennywise? And they go, I don't know. I go, okay, that sounds like a great movie I'd like to watch. 700 people, you said? That sounds great. Let's see.
I was the black sheep of the family.
I guess that's his sister. Okay, because they're singing, I was the black sheep of the family. He's saying your family sits at the table. I feel like we're going to have new characters introduced. I don't know if I need new characters.
It's time to get married. Or buried.
I'm going to need a gun.
I like that. That's fun. Okay. All right. We're starting to pick up. It's Fire and Gun 2023. Okay, now we're in the desert.
If you
Eh.
know,
I don't need big sweeping in John Wick. This is making me very nervous. I don't need to see a big desert. I don't need multiple locations. I need, like give me the raid, you know? There's a guy on the top floor you have to kill. It's just one building. There's a guy on the top floor you have to kill. But this building is full of bad guys. And go. That's what I want.
the table will honor its word.
Okay, the dog is mad.
Freedom.
Under the old laws, only one can survive. Failure to meet at sunrise
I mean,
will result in execution.
that looks good. Okay, he's got a hatch at his head. This scene looks like it could be awesome. Bunch of people fighting with hatchets under a waterfall at a rave. That looks awesome.
Last words, Winston?
Just have fun out there.
That's fun. Okay, give me a lot of action to end this trailer. Give me everything. Okay, that's one shot. Okay, he's going up the stairs fighting bad guys. I don't mind that. On a motorcycle.
But a good death only comes after a good life.
Yeah.
You and I left a good life behind a long time ago.
Nice. He's like, fuck that. I'm gonna beat up people and kill them. I don't know, man. March 24th, experience it in IMAX. I'm getting a bad feeling that John Wick may be getting too big for its britches. It feels big. It feels like they're trying to do a lot here. And it feels like they're trying to tell a lot of story. Which it's like, don't take yourself too seriously. Please don't take yourself overly serious and make it feel like the lore is what's drawing people in. The lore of John Wick is not what's leading people to the movie theater. It's knife fights and ninja stars and ducking under automobiles and stuff like that. There were a couple scenes in there that looked badass. You know, that park scene looked awesome, right? When he's like, got to go up the stairs, but this is what I'm talking about. There's bad guys on the stairs. You're at the bottom of the stairs. You got to go to the top of the stairs, but it's all bad guys. That seems badass. But there's only like 5. I wish there was like 80. Like if there were 80 people on the stairs, and you're like, I want to look at a movie trailer, right? Because I look at this and it seems like they're really trying to build up. Because it feels like the end of the movie is going to be him fighting Pennywise in a duel. And they're really trying to build that up. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm watching these 3 movies. There ain't no individual man that John Wick can't take out with ease. I don't care how big he is. You killed John Wick's dog? He's going to kill everybody. Okay? So what can't John Wick do? Maybe kill 80 bad guys on a staircase. Like if the trailer ended and John Wick like shoots a guy and then he looks up and you just see 80 people coming down the stairs at him and he's just this one guy with a dead dog. That's the guy. That's the movie that I want to see. I hope there's some of that. I want to see a guy going into a rave. And first, he has to get into a hatchet fight with somebody under a waterfall. But then he realizes everybody at the rave is an enemy. And he has to fight everybody. That's what I'm going for in these John Wick movies. We'll see. We'll see, Keanu. You still got it for me? I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there. Opening weekend. I'll be there. Don't disappoint me. This trailer did not show me what I wanted to see. Violence. Lots of violence. Speaking of violence, there will be violence if you think you can come in here, you can not hit the like button, and you can try to communicate with us in the chat without dropping those super chats. If you want to communicate with the show tonight, drop a super chat. Like, see, Big J21. John Wick versus Maniac Cop. As far as the trilogy goes, probably Maniac Cop. Well, we'll see how I feel about 4. We'll see. Let me go to these super chats. We only got a few of them. Kevin Lumpford. Oh, man. I was going to go off on hot dog again. Maybe that's the secret to the super chats. Maybe we need a hot dog here for people to, like, just loathe. And they can send in the super chats saying insulting things about him. Grim Reaper. Happy Lonely Friday, Sammy boy. Awesome Nick Aldis talk. Yes, the Nick Aldis interview is up on the other YouTube channel, youtube.com/Notsam Wrestling. So make sure that you go over there if you're into that. He explains why he left the NWA. If you're not into that, but you are into the movie talk, earlier this week I posted the interview exclusive with writer-director of Terrifier 2, Damian Leone. Damian Leone was here in the Notsam studio, and I got to have a nice, lengthy chat with him in person about Terrifier 2, making the movie, the whole thing. It was an awesome talk. I loved the interview. Check it out when you get a chance and enjoy for yourself right here on this YouTube channel. That's why you should be subscribed. Poodle-rific used to be impressed that Sam was verified. Now, not so much. I'm gonna have to work a lot harder to get you guys on my side. I can feel it. I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight, and I want you to remember something. I'm gonna cheers with you later. Have a good night, everybody.